guys, it's Morgan and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the movie The Fantastic Four: First Steps. Now, if you haven't seen the movie, there will be spoilers in this review. So stop watching if you don't want to be spoiled. I also have an announcement that I'm saving for the end of the video, so stay tuned to the end if you want to find out what that is. So, here's my review for the movie The Fantastic Four: First Steps. I liked that the movie wasn't an origin story for the Fantastic Four. Yes, we got to see how they got their powers, but I thought it made sense that the movie was about the Fantastic Four saving the planet rather than them dealing with new powers. I also thought it was nice that the people in New York City were thankful for everything the Fantastic Four has done for them, since sometimes in some superhero stories, some people that may live where the superhero lives aren't as thankful. Now, I have to say that I understood both sides of the giving Franklin to Galactus situation. Obviously, Reed Richards and Sue Storm were never going to sacrifice their child, even if it meant that Galactus would spare Earth. But I also understood why the people in New York City were against them for that decision, since they were thinking that sacrificing one life to save a whole planet was worth it. But luckily, Sue was able to convince everyone that even though they weren't going to give Franklin to Galactus, it didn't mean that they weren't going to do what they could to save Earth. It was funny how enamored Johnny Storm became of the Silver Surfer, aka Shala Bal, the second he saw her. But it was good that that happened, since Johnny was able to find out that Shala Bal became Galactus's herald so that Galactus would spare her planet. And by playing transmissions from the people from the other planets that Galactus destroyed, Johnny was able to get Shala Bal to feel remorseful for her part, but she refused to help them save Earth and fled. However, right before Johnny was about to sacrifice himself so he could push Galactus into the portal, Shala Bal came back and stopped Johnny, and she pushed Galactus into the portal, which also caused her to go in too. Even though we only saw a few scenes with them together, I thought the relationship between Ben Grimm and Rachel Rosman was really sweet, and I hope that we get to see more of them together in the future. It also showed that Rachel wasn't judgmental, since the fact that Ben was covered in rocks didn't affect how she felt about him. I also thought it was cool to see Natasha Lyonne in this kind of role, since I feel like it's a lot different than the usual roles that she plays. The scene when the Fantastic Four invited Harvey Elder to their home so they could convince him to let the people in New York City hide in his underground city so they would be safe when Galactus came was really funny, especially since Harvey was trying to get a rise out of Reed, Johnny, and Ben, but since Sue was the only member of the Fantastic Four that Harvey trusted, he agreed to help, since Sue was the one who asked him. When Sue died after using all of her energy to help defeat Galactus, I knew that it wasn't going to last, just because it would be weird if the Fantastic Four show up in future Marvel movies and they were just 3 people. So Franklin bringing Sue back to life wasn't a surprise. But it did show Reed and Sue that Franklin did have powers, since they, especially Reed, had been wondering if he would. I also can't wait to find out what Sue's eyes flashing blue for a quick second after Franklin brought her back to life means. Now, the after credit scene is Herbie watching the Fantastic Four cartoon, so I feel like it's safe to say that that won't affect anything that might happen in future Marvel movies, but the mid-credit scene definitely will, since it's Sue reading a book to Franklin, and when she's done, she gets up to look for another book, but then she senses something and slowly goes back to where she left Franklin, and she sees him with Dr. Doom. So that will definitely affect what happens in Avengers Doomsday, and it seems like Dr. Doom wants to use Franklin's powers for what he's planning. I'm also curious to see how the characters who knew Tony Stark will react to Dr. Doom, since he's being played by Robert Downey Jr. Thanks for watching, guys! If you saw the Fantastic Four First Steps, let me know what you thought about it in the comments. And as I said in the beginning of the video, I have an announcement, which is that this will be the last video I film in my house in New Jersey because I'm moving to Connecticut. So the next time you see me, I will be in Connecticut. And I already have the first video that I'm going to film in Connecticut planned out. And it's going to be a theory video on what I think the songs on Taylor Swift's upcoming album, The Life of a Showgirl, will be about. So if you want to see that video or any of my other future videos, hit that subscribe button and I'll see you in the next video.